Hey, I want to know, how can you use study skills in everyday life? Like, how did I use study skills to learn about cats and heat and summer and how to keep them cool? Well, if you stick around, you'll know the answer to that. And if you're the mom of a teen and your teen is like, when am I ever going to use this? Or is trying to learn something, then you're definitely going to want to stick around because this example of keeping my cats cool in the summer is just one of millions of examples of how we can use study skills to learn anything we want to inside or outside of the classroom. You can see by my beautiful face that it's just a little warm in here. We have not turned on the AC just yet. And I have two little kittens that are, oh gosh, right over almost 3 months old. So definitely do know there's been a learning experience when it comes to the heat and cats. So if you've got some thoughts, advice, let me know down below. I'll be sharing the research that I did. Again, I'm not a vet, I'm a study skills tutor. So this is just what I researched, and I really want to share, okay, what study skills did I use to do this research? Not only to gather it, but then also to understand it. So I want you to know, mamas, there are 12 study skills that I teach, and they are essential for something as simple as this. How do I keep my cat cool in the summer? All right. So before we get going, I also want to tell you I'm hosting an awesome free event called the Summer Learning Resource Fair. There's more information about it in the description. I'll talk about it at the end, so definitely stick with me to the end. Alrighty, so I want to share with you the research first. And then, like I said, I want to tell you how did I gather it and, how did I make sure I feel like I know what I'm doing based on study skills. So number one, I learned all about ice, right? That's where my thought went. If you have a dog, you probably have a dog that loves to chew on ice. I've seen that lots and lots of times, but I didn't know. Could cats safely have ice? Did they even like ice? Like, I had no idea. And then the question was, they're kittens, so I didn't want to just give them ice and hope for the best, right? Well, I learned about the whole brain freeze thing. I don't know if I knew cats could get brain freeze, let alone dogs. Learned just how tough ice can be on their teeth, let alone how important it is to not let them choke. And then just I kind of figured this based on even dogs doing this, but they love to play with the ice, right? They love to slide it around. So I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. Other things I learned when trying to decide, okay, what do I need to be worried about? Here I am melty and hot, but I know what I can do to keep me cool. But what do I do about my cats? Well, the water, of course, making sure they're drinking enough. But then there's sweaty paws, or as my sister calls them, the toe beans, right? And again, didn't know I could be sweaty and they could be sweaty. So that was something interesting to learn. And then I'd never seen a cat pant before. So that was a learning experience too, not only to read about it and then actually to see it. So, and then even just the temperature of cats in general, like they are warmer than us just naturally. So they actually do better with the heat just because they are warmer creatures than humans. And I was like, look at that. So that's just, some really quick facts that I discovered during my research while using these study skills. So before I jump into, okay, what study skills are needed for this quick research project and that your teen or even yourself could use for a future research project, do know I'm Jessyka Coulter, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube right now. So if you're not a follower, not a subscriber, highly recommend that you change that like right now by hitting that subscribe or follow button, because I do go live 2 or 3 times a week and I don't want you to miss any videos all about study skills, all about helping your tweens, your teens, your young adults love to learn. All right. So of those 12 study skills, we're not going to talk about them all. You can definitely make a case for pretty much all of them and any learning experience, but let's start with the highlights. So we had to start with the time. All right. Time management is a big deal, big study skill, something I know many students I work with right now struggle with, let alone mamas tell me, yeah, teens not so great at time management, let alone organization, but let's focus on time management piece. And for this, I could have spent hours reading articles, Googling, watching videos, all of those things. Okay. But with time management skills, I knew, okay, pick an amount of time and know that, okay, in that time, either you have the answer or you don't, right? Like we don't want to go down a rabbit hole and get more information than we really need or reread the same things or find things that just say the same things. Like after so many YouTube videos, after so many articles, if the gist is the same, then it's kind of safe to say, yep, I can safely give my cats ice. I can make sure they're doing okay because they're doing this or not doing that kind of thing. All right. Other things that were important to know as I was doing my research, as I'm gathering, even before I start interpreting, before I start understanding, is I had to have a plan for retaining it, and B, another study skill, I had to know, how do I want to learn this? Like, what is my learning style? What is my way of basically doing the studying, aka the learning? Because remember, studying is the process of learning. Well, I knew as a visual learner that I needed to do more reading than anything else. Okay. I do not like listening to podcasts. I do not like watching videos unless there's captions. Okay. I knew I had to do some reading. And then since my second learning style is kinesthetic, then I knew, okay, if I know what I'm looking for now, I've seen pictures, I've done some reading. Well, then, okay, now if I go hang out with my cats, I can see, are they doing these certain things? Are there certain things I can feel, touch, whatever, all of that, the more hands-on aspect. Okay, so that's the gathering part. Okay, so think of this like when your kid's in a class. Okay, and obviously your kid can't say, hey, I only want to be in this class for 30 minutes if an hour class, right? That's not going to happen. So that's why it's like, okay, yeah, time management matters. It's always a study skill. It's a life skill, but yet kind of different application. But yet if your teen doesn't know what to do with the 30 minutes he has at home to do this homework, or doesn't even know, hey, I could get it done in these 30 minutes, like I could get my research done in 30 minutes, that's kind of the connection there. All right. So as to the retaining information we talked about, then the question became, okay, what notes am I going to take? Which is another study skill. Okay. The questions need to become, how do I know I read this? And then now that I spend time with my cats, or hey, I'm keeping an eye on them, and then they're doing this thing with articles said to be careful of. Well, again, I had to retain it. And there's hundreds of strategies to do that. Okay. One of the strategies I used was to tell a family member. Okay. So teaching someone else, you can't teach someone unless you yourself know. So now that I've passed it on, hopefully she will keep an eye on the cats with me too, see if they're staying cool, making sure some of those things, like we said, the sweaty toe beans, the panting, all that stuff does not happen, or if it does, kind of that we're prepared for next steps based on what we've gathered. Obviously, again, worst case scenario will be going to the vet. We don't ever want to get to that point. We don't want something worse than that to happen. But yet, it's warm for me, so I was worried, is it warm for the cats? Okay. So other things to think about, going back to this whole, I'm not a vet thing, worried about the cats because they're kittens, so they're new to me, right? And they're new and they're little. I want to keep them around. Well, I had to have the confidence, right? Like I had to have the confidence that I could find the information. I had to have the confidence that I can keep them safe. I had to have the confidence that I was, able to do the research, So definitely do know confidence is a study skill. Is it a hands-on, kind of like tactile, whatever you want to call it, study skill, like maybe note-taking or time management? No, it's more like on the emotional, more on the mindset side of things, but yet it's still a study skill. Okay. Grit and resilience, I would say, would fall into the same category of, kind of pushing through, the grit, the resilience, the bouncing back. So knowing that, I wasn't going to give up on the research. I wasn't going to just be like, yeah, what happens, right? So that would be a component for this. And then the last study skill that I want to mention here that I feel like applied really well to this particular learning experience was self-advocacy. Okay. So a lot of teens do not ask for help. And mamas, depending on you, you may not like asking for help either. And that's one of the things I teach in my Love to Learn Study Skills program, is to help teens know it is okay to ask for help. So I actually did take the cats in for a vet appointment last week to get their last shots they need. But I asked some questions there. Didn't feel like I got all the information I wanted. So I decided to do something about it. All right. I decided to help myself, or I could have gone back, right? So I had to kind of know what questions to ask, had to know what kind of information I was looking for. And also, again, have to have kind of that get up and go, that, self-initiation to decide to find the information. So different kind of components to self-initiation, and really, I should have said self-advocacy. So that's a big study skill that I would love to help your teen with, no matter if you got a middle schooler, high schooler, or college kiddo. So those are kind of the highlights. Just wanted to give you an example, mamas, of how study skills apply to any learning situation, even something like being summer, my cats being hot, and doing the research to make sure I know how to keep them as cool as I can. So thanks for being here. If you've got suggestions, again, about my kitty cats, helping them stay cool, love to know what works for you, for your family, for your cats. And also know that if you want your teens to know how to learn, you want your teens to continue learning all summer long, even after summer, right? Through study skills, through the school year, a good starting point is the Summer Learning Resource Fair. Get your free ticket at the link below so you can grab up to what's like 75 resources from up to, there's like 70, 75 contributors. Had a bit of a change since my last video, but still a lot of resources, and now it's free. So have a good day, mamas. Talk to you soon. See you at the Summer Learning Resource Fair.